What up, Opinioneers, and welcome to the News to Opinion show for the week of October 28th, 2021. My name is Connor Brown, and I'm a former cast member, an author, blogger, travel agent, and a Walt Disney World expert whose passion is to help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Walt Disney World vacation. This is our weekly show where I share the top news stories in the world of the Disney parks and then give my thoughts and opinions on them. If you are a new listener here, welcome to the show. Feel free to go back and check out all of our old podcast episodes covering a wide variety of Disney-related topics. That includes our other weekly show, the WDW Opinion podcast, where I do interviews, trip reports, dining reviews, just talk about all sorts of nonsense. You can check out all those episodes, and you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. If you're a longtime listener, welcome back. Thanks for being here. If you continue to enjoy the show, consider sharing it with a friend you think might enjoy it as well. If you're watching the show on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. You can probably tell, I don't know if you can, how easy it is to see, I am wearing one of the sweetest thrift store finds I have ever found in my entire life. And it is a polo shirt, a golf shirt, I guess you could say, collared shirt, and the crest on it says, "Who wants to be a millionaire? Play it." And at the top it says 32,000 points. That's right. On the sleeve here, it actually says Walt Disney World. That's right. I found this in a thrift store here in Central Florida, and this was a prize won by some lucky individual who played Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It live at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which was a game show that was set up basically like the Millionaire set. It was in Hollywood Studios. It was there for quite a while, a good amount of time. My family always liked going to it. It was a fun time, but this was a prize you could win if you got 32,000 points. And I don't know who would give it up, but I found out at the thrift store it was $6, and boy, oh boy, am I happy. I also have the collar popped because that felt more comfortable, but now I'm realizing with the collar popped and the sunglasses that I'm wearing, I kind of just look like a villain from a 1980s John Hughes movie. So that might have been a mistake to make, but I'm sticking to it. I'm not going to unpop the collar. Once it's popped, it can't go back. Anyways, if you are watching on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button on the video and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. If you do ever want to check out the video version of the show, you want to check out this sweet Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It shirt that I'm wearing, head over to youtube.com/WDW Opinion to check it out. Wanted to start off with a reminder that if you have any opinions you would like to share around the news stories we're talking about this week, you can call the WDW Opinion hotline and leave a voice message, and I'll play it on next week's show. You can call the hotline at 407-900-6028. That's 407-900-6028. Leave a voicemail with your name, where you're calling from, and then whatever opinion you have on the news story. I'll be honest, voicemail line feeling a little empty. Haven't really gotten anything, so I'd love for you all to leave a voicemail. If you have any opinions, you can call it 407-900-6028. Little empty, I'm just saying, so feel free to leave a voice message for any news story we talk about today. With that being said, let's get into the news. The first news story we'll be discussing is that you can mark your calendars for the Epcot International Festival of the Arts, January 14th through February 21st, 2022. And here's the news story around it, coming directly from the Disney Parks blog. The new year will be here before you know it, so now is the time to plan your visit to the Epcot International Festival of the Arts, debuting January 14th. This global celebration of performing, culinary, and visual arts runs through February 21st, 2022, as part of the world's most magical celebration honoring the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World Resort. And there's more good news. The Disney on Broadway concert series is returning for this year's festival, where you can see some of your favorite entertainers perform Disney songs live at the American Gardens Theater in World Showcase. Every 2 weeks, we'll welcome different pairs of Disney on Broadway stars to perform some of the songs that helped make them famous. Plus, they'll also be performing other sensational tunes. Keep watching the Parks blog for more updates about who the specific entertainers will be and what the schedules will be as well. During the festival, art lovers of all ages can enjoy inspirational experiences, such as culinary delights from food stations around World Showcase, the wonderful walk of colorful cuisine, a fun food stroll featuring 5 delicious sweet and savory treats, chalk artists turning walkways into stunning landscapes and portraits, photo ops where you can step into famous artwork, a paint-by-number mural, Figment's Brush with the Masters scavenger hunt, performance and visual artists, special festival merchandise, and more. And then they just go into some details. Follow Disney World, blah, 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 blah. So that's it. Festival of the Arts coming back. That was the news. Now let's get into the opinion. Yes. The International Festival of the Arts. Or as us Disney fans like to affectionately refer to it as farts. Sorry, I didn't mean that. What I meant to say was its full name, International Farts. The one festival where the whole world can come together and pass gas. I don't actually mean that because I really do enjoy farts, Festival of the Arts. This festival, it's really cool. It's really unique. It actually started out as something called Festival of the Masters, and it was in Downtown Disney when it was called Downtown Disney. The whole premise behind Festival of the Masters was Disney would invite in these individuals, and they were artistic masters, whatever they were, mainly painters, those types of artists. They would come in. It was for like only 1 or 2 weekends in January. And they'd basically take over Downtown Disney. They'd sell their artwork. They'd do demonstrations, stuff like that. It was cool for sure. But when Downtown Disney started to get renovated into Disney Springs, that whole area, it was just chaos. There was construction everywhere. It was no place to have a festival like that. So Disney stopped doing the Festival of the Masters for a few years. Then eventually Disney Springs came to be. But Disney said, you know what? This doesn't make sense to put this festival back at Disney Springs. Probably also because they wanted to be able to charge admission for it, and you can't do that at Disney Springs. So eventually, Festival of the Masters came back, but it transformed with a new name and a new location, and that's how we got Festival of the Arts in Epcot. And even in the first year of Festival of the Arts, it did start out relatively small. It was kind of a focus just on artists in the very beginning of this festival. But over the years, with each passing year, with each passing festival, Disney has done a great job of adding additional elements and really making this festival much more robust than what it was when it first started. When it first started, it only lasted a couple weeks, meaning the festival itself was only scheduled for a couple of weeks. Now it's basically a full month, a little over a month. But they have more elements now that you can enjoy, like the food booths, like the Broadway concert series, the chalk artists. All these pieces have been added in, and it's really been able to create an awesome, awesome festival. And for me personally, I think of all the yearly festivals that go on at Epcot, I'm pretty sure that this one is my favorite. And the reason it's my favorite is because it just feels the most different. It's pretty much the entirety of the year where Epcot is in a festival mode, except for kind of the brutal dog days of summer, and then when they're transitioning from one festival to the other, it's always in festival mode. And actually, I heard something funny. This year, Food and Wine is the longest it's ever been. And it won't be any longer, at least significantly longer, because what's happening is Disney's pushing up on the liquor license law. So basically, they have these temporary structures that are the food booths. And because they're considered temporary, they have a different liquor license, an easier liquor license to get from what I've been led to believe. If those were to stay open for a little bit longer, they would go from being a temporary to a permanent location, and that means that they would have to have a different type of liquor license. So that's kind of why Disney just has, that's why it's only going this much. It's still a long time, and there's always a festival going on, but I think, again, this one seems the most different. For me, the only difference between the two big ones, between Food and Wine and Flower and Garden, is really the flowers that take place at Flower and Garden. The food booths, for me, they all seem to just run together. I know there's no real overlap, like there's no one item that's offered at both, really, but it feels like there's significant overlap for sure. And then, I don't know. It just comes back probably to the fact that they use the same booths. The booths basically just stay there. They're the same booths. So those two festivals for me come together and I get confused and I can't ever remember, did I have that at this festival or was it that festival or whatever it is. And even the performances, when they had the performances at Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, they both started different, but now they feel very, very similar. Like Flower and Garden used to be the Flower Power concert series, which made sense. The Flower Power meaning they would invite bands from the 60s, like the hippie generation, stuff like that. And Food and Wine had more contemporary kind of artists. Well, they kind of got rid of the Flower Power thing and just said, for Flower and Garden, we're bringing in contemporary artists as well. Was it because it was starting to get hard to find people from the Flower Power era? I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But the fact that they have contemporary artists at both of those festivals now, it kind of goes, it's just another element that makes it all seem like it's running together. Like it's the same sort of festival. For Festival of the Arts, the Broadway performances are incredible, and that's unique to that festival, which I think is great. Plus, the food is so unique at that festival, too. The food tries to be artistic, and it looks great for the gram. That's awesome. Disney loves that. We're going to talk a lot about food that looks great for the gram in the next segment. But that aspect of being artistically pleasing as well as delicious, that food separates it from the other festivals, too. And also with Festival of the Arts Farts, there's more participatory elements at the festival. Again, another awesome element. I think when you take in the other festival that Epcot has every year, the Festival of the Holidays, yes, that one's very different from Food and Wine and Flower and Garden, but it's similar in a way to all the other events going on throughout Walt Disney World that are Christmas related. It's more upscale than the other parks' Christmas decorations for sure, but it totally feels like what Epcot should be doing during that time of the year. Whereas Festival of the Arts, it's so unique, it fits in so well with Epcot, but it's something that's unexpected as well. And that's why I think it's my favorite festival. And that's why I think it's becoming a fan favorite overall. So I was very excited to hear that it's coming back. I was very excited to hear that the Broadway singers are coming back, that the additional elements are coming back, and it's going to be very, very, very fun. If you've never been to the Festival of the Arts Farts, you should definitely think about planning a trip around it just to see it. Plus, probably the best part is it takes place in January and February. So it'll actually be a pleasant temperature here in Central Florida, which is worth experiencing. Because sometimes during Flower and Garden and sometimes actually a lot during Food and Wine, it's just brutally hot. Brutally hot. Like you can't even enjoy it, basically. Not necessarily the case with the Festival of the Arts. It can actually get cold during some of those days. But there you go. I still think worth experiencing, and I'm glad that it's coming back. The next news story is that we have a foodie guide to the 50th anniversary celebration, sips and bites. So, before we get into the news portion of this, I just want to say this story came out a while ago. It came out like last month, end of last month in September. And I've been holding on to it because there's been a lot of other news stories that have come during that time that have been more important that I wanted to address in a timely sort of manner. So that's why I held on this one. But also for this one, it's going to be a little bit different because typically how this show runs is I keep news separate from opinions. There's not a whole lot of news here. It's going to kind of be a combo of both because what I'll be reviewing is this blog post from the Disney Parks blog that lists all of these celebratory food and beverage items. And I'm going to be reading them and, explaining them and talking about their descriptions, but I'm also going to be commenting and giving my opinions at the same time. So that's why for this one, it's going to be intertwined. So the gist of this article from Disney Parks blog, just a big long list of all the celebratory items that are going to be there for the 50th, but I'll just read the first paragraph. Throughout our 4 theme parks and beyond, Disney chefs and mixologists have created more than 150 sips and bites full of color, whimsy, and a touch of iridescent shimmer, with even more coming throughout the 18th-month celebration that began October 1st. So this article, it basically lists 150. It doesn't list 150. There's eventually going to be that from what I've been led to believe. But it lists all of these sips and bites that are new items to Walt Disney World that have, as Disney puts it, been specifically created in honor of the 50th anniversary. Overall, I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome that Disney has invested the time, the money, and the energy just in food alone, in a huge amount of food alone to celebrate the 50th anniversary. That's great. But at the same time, most of these items don't make any sense. Like, they don't make any sense when it comes to celebrating a 50th anniversary. They're wild elements as well. They're wild offerings. It's crazy. So I just want to, pick out some of the items in the article. I'm not going to read the entire article, and I'm going to share my opinions on them. I should also say, when this article came out, I was sitting with my mom, and I opened my phone. I'm like, oh, new article from the Parks blog. Oh, wow, look at all these food elements. We were at the Polynesian at the Tambu Lounge. We were just sitting there, and next to us, there was this mother and daughter sitting next to us. And they were, how do I put this? They were interesting. Okay, I'll put it that way. But the daughter read the entire article out loud to her mother. And I mean, she read the entirety of it, word for word. And this thing is massive. We're talking 150 food items, like I'm saying, each with a detailed description of what it is. And she's just plowing through. I mean, if you put this in a Word doc, it'd probably take up 4 or 5 pages, right? That's a lot of stuff to talk about. And she's talking at a level that the whole Tambu Lounge can hear her. We were like, oh my God, these people, whoa. But at the same time, we couldn't help but laugh. It was very funny. At one point, the mother gets up and goes to the restroom, and we're both like, oh, thank God, the daughter stopped reading. We're off the hook. And then the mom comes back, and the daughter, she picked up right where she left off. 75 more items to go. Glad you're back from the bathroom, but we have this article I have to read out loud to you, commenting on every single item. And now I realize that that's kind of what I'm doing here with this podcast. But you don't have to listen to it. We were kind of held hostage in that one. To start, I want to talk about some of the items that actually make sense, to the 50th anniversary perspective. So we'll start in Magic Kingdom, Columbia Harbor House. They have a Happy Haunts milkshake, blackberry milkshake topped with a purple chocolate glazed donut with black sprinkles. Columbia Harbor House, right next to Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion, a very, very important attraction to Walt Disney World. So this looks like the Haunted Mansion. Like the purple wallpaper, the ghosts, all that. Good. I get it. Fun drink, fun milkshake, worth it. Crystal Palace, Walt's favorite on the buffet. So during lunch and dinner, they changed up the buffet offerings to include more of what Walt really loved. They have chicken fried steak, they have New York strip steak, pork chops, and more. Again, love it. Makes perfect sense. Friar's Nook, the Toad Burger. It is a brat burger served on a bun with lettuce, tomato, pickle, and American cheese. And the way that it looks is the pickle comes out of the bun like it's a tongue, and then they stick 2 olive spears in the top that look like eyes. So it's supposed to look like a toad. Now, 1, this is fun. I don't know if it tastes good. But 2, Friar's Nook, right next to Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. What used to be in Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh? Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. This is hearkening back to that attraction. That was a classic attraction that was there in Walt Disney World for a very, very, very long time. So that's fun. I don't know if it tastes good, again, but that's fun, and it harkens back to an old attraction. Auntie Gravity's Galactic Goodies. Uncle Orville's Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow Sundae. That's funny. I didn't realize that at Auntie Gravity's, you can get Uncle Orville's Sundae. Very fun. But that comes with chocolate and vanilla soft serve, brownie pieces, hot fudge, whipped cream with the red, white, and blue sprinkles served in a bathtub. This, of course, is acknowledging Uncle Orville from Carousel of Progress, another very important attraction to Walt Disney World. And Uncle Orville is in the bathtub at one point. I also love that red, white, and blue sprinkles because it's 4th of July during one of the scenes. Love it. Great. I have heard that, and I've seen the bathtub that it's served in. It's just like a plastic container. It's not looks like an actual porcelain claw-footed bathtub. So they might have missed the mark on that one. But again, makes sense. Fun. Very fun. Be Our Guest restaurant. This one might not seem like it makes sense, but I'll explain why. At Be Our Guest, you can get Squid's Revenge drink, a michelada. A michelada is it's like a Bloody Mary, but instead of hard booze, they have beer. Very big in Mexico, places like that. Might seem like a weird drink to have at Be Our Guest for sure, but it's a michelada with a salted rim, garnished with charred octopus. So just a charred octopus tail, not a tail, an arm, and cucumber. And then it says, "Watch out, the giant squid is back." People are like, this doesn't make any sense for this restaurant. In a lot of ways, it doesn't. But what they're referring to with the Squid's Revenge and saying the giant squid is back is that new Fantasyland where Be Our Guest restaurant is located. That entire area used to be home to one attraction, and that was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the submarine voyage. When that opened in Disney World, one element of it was, just like you would see in 20,000 Leagues on the movie, giant squid. They had a giant squid animatronic down there. So now that this is in the place of where that attraction used to be, Disney thought, you know what? Let's do a subtle nod, a subtle reference to that classic attraction that's no longer here, and that's why you get the Squid's Revenge. Another squid thing to point out, if you are by Under the Sea, the Little Mermaid ride, and you have your back to it, and you're looking at the backside of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, there's that little DVC booth there. If you look up at the top of the DVC booth, you'll see a weather vane. The top of the weather vane is a squid. Another reference to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So again, get it. 50th anniversary makes sense. At the Jungle Navigation Co. Limited Skipper Canteen, you can get veranda fried rice. That's a spicy chili garlic shrimp served over pork fried rice with eggs and peas. And this was from the original Veranda Restaurant menu. And the Veranda Restaurant was a restaurant open from 1971 to 1994. And then Jungle Canteen opened its location opened in that location in 2015. So for a very long time, 71 to 94, the Veranda restaurant was right there in Adventureland. Then it closed for basically 20 years. And then they opened a new restaurant in that space, which was the Jungle Navigation Co. Limited Skipper Canteen. Love it. Harkens back to that old restaurant, an old recipe. Very cool, very awesome for the 50th. Those are great. And then you also have the ones like you can get the hand-dipped 50th Celebration Mickey Premium Bar. So it's the classic Nestle Mickey's Premium Ice Cream Bar, dipped in blue raspberry flavoring coating with Celebration sprinkles and a little bit of pixie dust. Great. At Animal Kingdom, Restaurantsaurus, this is where it might start stretching things a little much. You can get cheese fries with Walt's chili, crispy fries topped with Walt's favorite chili and cheddar sauce. I'm not sure if that was particularly Walt's favorite chili. I'm sure they took the recipe and kind of developed it for it, but it's not like at the plaza out in Disneyland where he used to eat that chili all the time. This is just a little Restaurantsaurus. I don't know if they're using the same thing, but that's a little bit of a stretch for me. But again, overall, those intentions of those food items make sense for the 50th anniversary. There are also plenty of desserts throughout property that, they have iridescent sprinkles or a chocolate 50th medallion. Great, fine, whatever, all makes sense. Then we get into the combinations and the creations that make no sense, absolutely no sense to the 50th anniversary. And I don't know where to start, but I think, all right, Casey's Corner, I love you, but I have to start with this. At Casey's Corner, you can get the 50th Celebration hot dog. The 50th Celebration hot dog is an all-beef hot dog topped with strawberry bacon jam, crisp funnel cake pieces, and powdered sugar. I have 2 words for this. Dear God. Dear God. When I think of a 50th anniversary, the first thing that pops into my head is funnel cake atop a hot dog, right? Funnel cake on a hot dog, that's 50th. Actually, you know what? I think that's the 50th anniversary. Oh, you have your golden anniversary, you have your diamond anniversary, 50th anniversary. That has to be the hot dog funnel cake anniversary. Has to be, right? What sick freak came up with this? I'm serious. Funnel cake and strawberry and powdered sugar on an all-beef hot dog. It's one thing to go totally outlandish, which is this item is, for sure. It's outlandish, it's crazy, it's wacky. You can probably take a picture of it and people will be like, what the heck is that? But what about this screams 50th anniversary? The answer is nothing. I can assure you, if you eat this, there's no way you're going to make it to the 60th anniversary. I can't assure you, but I can assure you. Over at Tony's Town Square Restaurant, you have the 5-alarm wings. Wings tossed in a sweet and spicy heat, served with ranch dressing for dipping. So, we've got spicy chicken wings at an Italian restaurant to celebrate the 50th anniversary of a theme park. Alrighty then. That screams the person who was supposed to come up with the item for Tony's forgot they were assigned with that task. And they just had to come up with something on the spot. All right, Jim. Your turn. What'd you come up with? What's up? Me? Yeah. The 50th anniversary dish. You were supposed to come up with it. You were supposed to come up with the one for Tony's Town Square Restaurant 50th anniversary dish that was going to celebrate Walt Disney World. You have that, right? Oh, yeah. Sure. I totally got that. Right. Yeah. Hot wings. Yeah. Yeah, hot wings. I have to assume that's how that conversation went because that doesn't make any sense. I mean, just having the chicken wings on the menu in the first place at that Italian restaurant doesn't make sense at all. And I'd like to use Italian very loosely when I describe Tony's. But again, chicken wings, 50th anniversary, Italian restaurant. I'm no math expert, but those things do not add up. They add up, but they don't add up to anything in particular. Toledo, one of the newer restaurants in Walt Disney World. Toledo at Disney's Coronado Springs. Sorry, let me say the full name. Toledo, Tapas, Steak, and Seafood at Disney's Coronado Springs. They're celebrating the 50th. They may be one of the newer kids on the block, but they're still celebrating the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. And how is Toledo Tapas, Steaks, and Seafood celebrating? Well, they're celebrating with a braised lamb shank with olive oil, potato puree, rosemary roasted garlic gravy, huckleberry jam, and English peas. Wow, that's just a menu item that I would expect from a place called Toledo Tapas, Steak, and Seafood, right? Like, what about this screams 50th anniversary? It screams there's a lot going on here, but it screams like we've been planning on bringing this dish to Toledo Tapas, Steak, and Seafood forever. And, well, why don't we just sneak it in and say it's a 50th anniversary special? 50th anniversary special, by the way, it's also great that it's going to be there for 18 months. My family goes to this Italian restaurant. We've been going ever since I was born. They have their regular menu, and then they have a menu insert. And the menu insert says daily specials. Those daily specials have been the exact same daily specials for 25 years. Again, probably not a daily special if it's been there for 25 years. And I feel like this is the same with this pork shank. Lamb shank at Coronado Springs. That's just a menu item. But then you have ones that continue in that trend of just kind of being menu items that don't scream 50th, like at Olivia's Cafe at Disney's Old Key West Resort. Spam cheddar biscuits with white gravy and drizzled with honey. If you put that on the Olivia's menu 5 years ago, it would make sense. If you put it on it a year ago, it would make sense. If it opened with that, it would make sense. It makes sense here now to still have it on the menu for sure, but I don't know what is screaming the 50th there. Is it the Spam? I don't know. One of my favorites, Frontiera Cucina, which is a third-party restaurant in Disney Springs. It's not owned or operated by Disney, but they're still getting in on the fun. And how are they getting in on the fun of the 50th? With a chocolate pignata. Now, you might be saying, Connor, it's pronounced piñata. I know how it's pronounced. I've had birthday parties before. I'm talking about a pignata. Pignata. It's a chocolate shell of a pig. It looks like a pig. Filled with gallette mousse, tender cake infused with whiskey and vanilla, crumble of chipotle bacon, candied orange, and Maria cookies. And yes, there's a mallet to break your piñata. This serves too. Now, I will, of course, be getting the chocolate pignata. I'm not a loser. If you're offering me a pig that's made out of chocolate that I can smash with a mallet and fun food comes out, how can you expect me not to order that? Of course I'm going to order that. Come on. But again, what is it about this that's the 50th anniversary? I get it's a piñata, so that's celebratory. But the pig, why is it a pig? Is there something more significant about a pig? I don't know. It's fun, for sure. 50th is just weird. Then, I recently posted about this on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, at WDW Opinion. Then there's the Dynamite Cinnamon Roll Sticks, which is at Whispering Canyon. And it doesn't explicitly say that this item is for the 50th because it just got announced about a month after the initial 50th stuff. This item, it looks like a stick of dynamite. Okay, that's fun. Whatever. I think the name should be different. I think instead of dynamite cinnamon roll sticks, I think it should be cinnamon roll dynamite sticks, right? I think that makes more sense. But they went with that. It comes with crushed red hot candies. Woof. A crispy bacon wick, obviously. A drizzle of cinnamon and warm candied nut glaze. Disney, I beg you. I beggeth you. You gotta stop. Please stop with this madness. There's no way anyone should start their morning with this. Listen, I've never been a big breakfast guy, okay? I think the thing of breakfast being the most important meal of the day, that's a myth. That's actually a marketing scheme that the cereal companies came up with. Look it up. Big cereal, watch your back, all right? It's a myth. But this is insane. And there's this thing that Disney always struggles with, right? On one hand, they want to make good food. They want to make really tasty food. They want to be a great culinary place, for sure. But then on the other hand, they're always lured by this shiny object. And this shiny object is make the food as ridiculous as possible so that people will post it on Instagram. They won't care that it doesn't taste good, but all their friends will see it on Instagram and they'll be enticed to come and try it out too. Do that. Do that. Do that. I'm not saying that this cinnamon roll dynamite stick is going to be bad. I'm just saying Disney likes to, a lot recently, come over with items that are crazy looking, that are awesome to post on social media, that don't always taste good. That don't always taste good. And sometimes it becomes more so that than actually having food that tastes good. And I always think they should pull it back a little bit. Yes, of course you can have fun food. It's a theme park, for crying out loud. But you don't always have to have the fun-looking food. That doesn't always have to be the thing that comes first. I still think tasting good should be the first thing. But it always seems like they're locked in on that. Like they freak out, Disney does, when they can make an Insta-worthy food item. And every time it happens, I'm just always like, you know when the dog gets in the garbage? You're just disappointed. Oh, man, why'd you go off and do that? What are you doing? Get out of that garbage. Come on. You're better than that. I know you're better than that. But being better than that brings me to the final item I want to discuss. And this is at Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe. If you follow me on Instagram, at WDW Opinion, you probably know where this is going. And I also talked about it a little bit on this week's WDW Opinion podcast, episode 121. You can go to wdwopinion.com/121 to check it out. I talk all about Disney Genie Plus. I used Disney Genie Plus on the first day. I give a recap of it. It's a great episode. Check it out if you haven't listened yet. Again, episode 121 of the WDW Opinion podcast. You can scroll down in this feed to check it out. Disney Genie Plus, great day with it. The worst part of the day was Cosmic Rays and the Mission to Mars, which is a burger topped with bacon and macaroni and cheese served on a bun dusted with crushed cheese-flavored puffs. Cheese-flavored puffs means Cheetos. This thing was a nightmare. It looked great. It did. I took some photos of it. Of course I did. With Sunny Eclipse in the background. You betcha. You bet I did. But when I took a first bite, I knew I have made a poor decision about this. This was a bad idea. Milk was a bad idea. Ron Burgundy. It was a nightmare. I just don't get what's 50th about it, except the name. Because Mission to Mars was an attraction in Tomorrowland back in the day. Okay, that's cool. I get that. But what about this mac and cheeseburger? What about it screams, not even screams, what about it whispers Mars? Is it the Cheetos that are atop the burger that are supposed to look like the red planet, which is Mars, because they don't, because the Cheetos are orange. Again, Cheetos are not the actual thing, cheese-flavored puffs, but it's orange. I don't know if we ever get to Mars. Are we bringing mac and cheese burgers there like first? Is the mission to get to Mars so that we can bring the mac and cheeseburgers? I don't know, but it still doesn't make any sense. And if you want something that looks like the red planet, take the Red Hots from that cinnamon bun catastrophe, that cinnamon bun dynamite stick, that cinnamon bomb. That's what they should call it, cinnamon roll bomb. Take those Red Hots, cinnamon hot candy, which I don't know why you start your day with that, and put it on a burger. Why not? Who cares? We put funnel cake on a hot dog. We can do whatever we want. The person who came up with this is an evil mastermind. I just know it. I think they said, those idiots out there, they'll buy anything. Put the Cheetos on the burger. Walking around with this thing in your gut, hot afternoon, Magic Kingdom, death march. Awful way to spend an afternoon. Tough way to spend an afternoon. I persevered for sure, because I'm a tough guy. But it was a challenge. I'll be honest, it was a challenge. The burger was ugh. The mac and cheese was good. The bun was a huge problem. I took one bite, all the Cheeto fell off, and then the bun was just hard. And again, I say it, all the time, like I just was talking about. Disney loves to make things that are Instagram worthy, and I fell for the trap. Hook, line, and sinker, like a sucker. And I bought the Mission to Mars burger, and I was disappointed. But listen, this is all in good fun, because these few items are really the only items where I was scratching my head with, because they don't make sense for the 50th, because they might look fun, but it's really just a food item on a menu. I think Disney always likes to go over the top, and they like to, when they come out with a press release or a blog post, fill it with as much info as possible. Sometimes subtly being subtle is more effective than just bombarding people and throwing the whole kitchen sink at you. The kitchen sink, ironically, is a sundae that they have. Oh boy, it beaches and cream. But I will be trying plenty of these new offerings, for sure. And I think, again, I love that Disney is going all out for the 50th. I love that they have so many new food offerings, especially in the 50th celebration category. There are just some that had me scratching my head pretty hard. But hopefully it was all in good fun. Hopefully I was able to make you laugh with all this. Again, I'm going to try plenty of these new items, and I'm going to share my thoughts on all of them, just like the Mission to Mars burger. Best way to hear all of my opinions, like in between these sorts of episodes, or more so hear my reviews in real time, is to follow along on Instagram. Because if I try this, I'm going to post it to Instagram immediately. Because like I said, I'm a dummy. I fall for what Disney wants me to do. So follow me on Instagram at WDW Opinion, and I'll be posting stuff there. There you go. New food items galore. Festival of the Arts farts coming back to Epcot. Some cool news stories. I think with these food items, we're going to get more and more. 18 months. We got a long way to go before this thing's over. But there, I just hope you learned some stuff. I hope you had fun with this episode. That's all I was really trying to do today. And again, I want to hear from you on these news stories. And at the top of next week's show, I'll be sure to play your opinions if you got them. And if you want to share them, 2 ways you can do it. First way is you can share them via the WDW Opinion hotline. If you call 407-900-6028, you can leave a voicemail, and I'll play it on the show next week. Again, that's 407-900-6028. Give me your name, where you're calling from, and share your opinion on the news with me. 407-900-6028. If you're feeling shy and you don't want to leave a voicemail, no worries. You can head over to WDW Opinioneers Facebook group, and wdwopinion.com/opinioneers. That's OPINIONEERS. And you can comment on the News to Opinion post there. I'll read the comments on the air too. If you enjoyed this episode of the News to Opinion podcast, let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be awesome if you could do that. It helps grow the show as well. If you enjoyed today's episode and you're watching on YouTube and you enjoyed my popped collar the entire time, my John Hughes villain look that I got going here, be sure to hit the like button on the YouTube video. Leave a comment. Let me know you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon. You know all that. If you listen on Spotify, you can click the follow button on the show page as well. That basically subscribes you to the show. If there is ever anything I could ever do to help you out, I would be more than happy to try and do so. Just reach out to me at Connor, CONOR, at WDWOpinion.com. If you have any questions or need anything at all, I'd love to hear from you. That's going to do it for News to Opinion this week. Have a great rest of your week. I've been Connor Brown, and until next time, keep LTD living the dream, and I'll see you real soon.